Africa was the birthplace of the human race and has been inhabited by modern humans for roughly 300,000 years. As such, it is rich with myths, legends, and folklore. Myths from ancient Africa are far too numerous to cover in a short video like this, so we've selected 5 interesting legends for your viewing pleasure. Join us as we take a look at 5 legends and mythical beings from African folklore. Number 1. Tokoloshe. A Tokoloshe is a supernatural creature that is said to visit and terrorize people in the night. Its description varies, but in general, it is described as short, stout, and hairy, with black eyes and a very large penis that can be thrown over its shoulder. The creature is capable of invisibility and causes mental instability in its victims, affecting them physically and psychologically. The Tokoloshe is portrayed as an evil spirit that uses black magic to bring misfortune to its prey and can be commanded by a witch. According to some myths, the witches keep the Tokoloshe docile by cutting the hair out of their eyes and feeding it curdled milk. The legend is thought to have originated in the Xhosa culture, but spread throughout South Africa and was adopted by other ethnic groups, including the Nguni and Zulu cultures. It is said that the Tokoloshe can be kept at bay by raising your bed with bricks, which some attribute to the practice of sleeping on raised beds. They are said to crawl into the rooms of sleeping people and either scare them or choke them with their long, bony fingers. They are described as similar to a dwarf or goblin, and some folklore holds that the Tokoloshe are friendly with children but instruct them to keep their friendship secret. Other tales detail that they enjoy scaring children, leaving them with long scratches on their bodies. Some believe that stories of the Tokoloshe were created to explain the sudden deaths of people who expired while they slept on the floor, while those with raised beds survived. Modern theories try to explain this by citing the preference for sleeping on grass mats next to the fire, which could have increased the carbon monoxide levels in the room, and those who slept on the floor would suffer from carbon monoxide poisoning. Of course, this relies on the false premise that carbon monoxide is heavier than air. In fact, carbon monoxide is slightly lighter than air and diffuses evenly throughout the room, meaning the goblin-like Tokoloshe may still be the killer. Number 2. Jock. Jock can refer to a supreme being as well as a class of spirits that are part of the belief system of the Acholi people of Uganda and South Sudan. Jock, the creator god, is said to be present everywhere and in all things, such as landforms, animals, and heavenly bodies. However, he is not entirely accessible to humans, and therefore other spirits, also called Jock, carry out the god's wishes for good and bad. According to the creation legend, Jock first created the world, then placed the planets, sun, moon, and stars in the sky. Jock invited humans to the sky with the intention of giving them the fruits from the tree of life, which would grant them immortality. Humankind was reluctant to move into the heavens, so Jock gave the fruits to the sun, moon, and stars, granting them eternal life instead. Another version holds that while humans did die, they returned to life after a time. Jock told the people to grind just 1 grain of millet, which would provide them with enough food. However, they ground a large amount of millet, breaking Jock's instructions, inciting his anger and causing Jock to withdraw the gift of resurrection. Number 3. The Hole in the Wall. The Hole in the Wall is another legend that originated with the Xhosa. The Hole in the Wall is a natural arch in a sandstone wall that lies on the wild coast region of the Eastern Cape in South Africa. The Xhosa call it Heitsi-eibib, which means place of thunder, and according to the folklore, it is the gateway to their ancestors. The oral history of the Xhosa maintains that there was once a landlocked lagoon at the site that was blocked from the sea by a cliff. One legend of Heitsi-eibib goes that a beautiful girl lived near the lagoon. Unlike the rest of her tribe, she was drawn to the sea and would spend hours sitting on the cliff staring out at the ocean. One night, she snuck down to the shore beyond the cliff, and to her amazement, out of the waves rose a man who belonged to a race of sea people. He looked human and was the same height as her, but his hands and feet looked like flippers, and his hair flowed like waves. He told the girl that he often watched her as she sat on the cliff and asked her to be his wife. The girl returned to her village and told her father about the proposal. Her father was furious and forbade the girl from seeing the man again, telling her, "We do not trade our daughters with sea people." The next night, the girl snuck out to the shore to tell her lover what her father had said. The seaman responded by telling her he would prove his love for her at the next high tide. The next morning, the villagers were shocked to see a group of sea people atop the cliff that separated their lagoon from the sea. The group used a huge fish to batter a hole in the cliff, through which the tide flowed in, along with hundreds of sea people singing and shouting joyfully. They were led by the girl's lover, who extended his arms to her, and the two embraced. The wave then retreated, along with the sea people and the girl, who was never seen on land again. It is said that on nights when the tide is high, you can still hear the sea people searching for a bride, their calls rising above the roars of the waves. Number 4. Heitsi-eibib. This legend is from the Khoi people of Namibia and South Africa. The legend varies regarding whether Heitsi-eibib was a demigod or mortal, but in all stories, he was a rich and powerful chief. Heitsi-eibib was renowned as a seer and a hunter, but he was also known to be a trickster. According to his origin story, he began life as a patch of grass that was eaten by a cow, causing Heitsi-eibib to be born in the form of a bull. In this incarnation, he wandered the wilderness, taking a type of antelope called a gembok as a wife. The couple had 2 children who were born half antelope and half human. The best-known story from the legend of Heitsi-eibib is his defeat of a mythical monster called Ga-Gorib. According to folklore, Ga-Gorib would sit on the edge of a deep pit and challenge passers-by to hit him on the forehead with a stone. Whenever anyone took on the challenge, the stone would bounce off Ga-Gorib's head and strike the thrower, whose lifeless body would then fall into the pit. One day, Heitsi-eibib was passing by, and Ga-Gorib issued his challenge. There are 2 versions of how Heitsi-eibib won the contest. One is that instead of aiming at Ga-Gorib's forehead, Heitsi-eibib threw a stone behind the monster's ear, which killed him, and he fell into his own pit. The other says that Ga-Gorib chased Heitsi-eibib around the pit. Heitsi-eibib fell in, but managed to escape and continue the fight, eventually pushing Ga-Gorib in. Stories of Heitsi-eibib are also found in the Nama and Damara cultures, as well as several San people's folklore. In parts of Namibia, you can see piles of stones next to ancient paths that are said to represent the graves of Heitsi-eibib, who died several times and arose again in different forms. Travelers leave stones, sticks, or sometimes offerings of water, diluted honey, meat, or tobacco at these piles. In order to gain the blessing of Heitsi-eibib, travelers are not allowed to look back at the site when they leave. Other tales attributed to Heitsi-eibib are that he removed fish from the desert and stopped lions from nesting in trees. Number 5. Grootslang. The name Grootslang translates to big snake, and it is said to live in and around the Orange River in Richtersveld, South Africa. Some believe that the legend originated in the Khoisan culture, which includes the Nama as a subgroup. Rock paintings have been found in the KwaZulu-Natal Province, Rockfontein Ridge, and New Aysville-Kap, which evidence the long-held belief in the immense horned serpent. It is often described as an elephant and snake hybrid, which was created at the dawn of time. The creator deity recognized the tremendous power of the creature and split it into 2 parts, making elephants and pythons. However, a few Grootslangs survived, including the one that lives in a limestone sinkhole in Richtersveld known as the Wonder Hole, or the Bottomless Pit, which is thought to stretch from one side of the Orange River to the sea. Other stories say that Grootslang is older than the world and is the most intelligent, cunning, and powerful creature alive. However, because it was inherently evil, the gods decided to take back its powers. The Grootslang was divided into a host of smaller animals, such as gorillas, lions, pythons, elephants, and sea monsters. Despite the gods' effort, a huge chunk of it escaped and spawned more Grootslangs, safe in its underground tunnel. Grootslang is said to exude an air of evil and have huge eyes that shine like diamonds. Some descriptions hold it to be a colossal black python-like creature with tusks and a spike at the end of its tail. It has venomous or toxic breath that helps it prey on its victims. Other stories describe it more like an elephant-snake hybrid, with the body of an elephant and the tail of a snake, which is olive in color. It is said to be around 40 feet long and is large enough to devour cattle that come to the river's edge to drink. Its prey is also said to include rhinoceros, lions, elephants, buffalo, and giraffes. According to some myths, Grootslang emerges from its lair to wreak havoc on the land, but other tales hold that it protects diamonds that lie at the bottom of the pit. Supposedly, many adventurers have set out to find the Grootslang, hoping to seize its treasure. One such tale tells of an explorer called Peter Grayson, an Englishman who set out to find the Grootslang in 1917. He was never heard from again, and there are several accounts of his fate. One story says that the expedition party simply succumbed to the elements or were killed by any number of deadly animals, including poisonous snakes, spiders, scorpions, and lions. Another account holds that after several deaths in the party, Grayson's men abandoned the quest, leaving Grayson, who insisted he would rather die than return empty-handed. Some say that his body was never recovered, as the Grootslang had devoured it. Many speculate that the legend of the Grootslang comes from sightings of real animals, including rock pythons, which can grow up to 20 feet in length, monitor lizards, or even seals, the heaviest of which is the Cape fur seal and is native to South Africa. How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description. To learn more about African history, check out our book, Ancient Africa, a captivating guide to ancient African civilizations such as the Kingdom of Kush, the land of Punt, Carthage, the Kingdom of Aksum, and the Mali Empire with its Timbuktu. It's available as an ebook, paperback, and audiobook. If you found the video captivating, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.